Hi there, it's Mare. I have two journals to share with you today that I have just completed. Both are in a Jane Austen theme. I'm going to go over the pink one first, and just to save some time, I will be putting all the credits for the things that I've used or purchased in the subject of this video. And before I forget, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. Get notified of any of my new videos that I put out. Okay, I'm going to try to do this quickly. I really wanted to do just two really pretty journals. The one is soft. This is a soft cover. The blue and gold is a hardcover. This is more in the pink and gold tones. This is roughly 10.5 by, let me see what I put, 10.5 by 6. And it is really chunky, as most of my journals are. Use some old vintage lace, some new lace, some purchased ephemera, made ephemera. I did cover it. I don't know if you can catch this little gold shimmer. It's a gold and pink shimmer. It's lace, but the fabric behind it is like a pinkish with gold tones. This is a die cut. Put some stones, rhinestones here, a little applique here, Jane Austen signature stamp. This is the spine. I did leave a long tail here that can be cut if you need to. There's spots with the Pearl X that I've used. On the spine, it is supported with Tyvek, as is most of my, or all my journals, just because I tend to over-embellish, or heavily embellish. How about that? Here's some rhinestone here, a little J charm in this glass crystal here. Let me see, this is just ribbon for the closure here, and I put a little charms here. Okay, let's get started. Try to do this quickly since there's two. I just put a little booklet, made up some ripped pages here, and tied it. So that's some extra journaling space. This is fabric that is, I believe, fairly new, and it's Jane Austen's, her writing for her letters. So I thought that was really, really nice. And again, I'll have where I purchased that in the description box. A little applique I've made into a pocket with a tag here. I do have a lot of the pages are supported, and I've also decorated and embossed a lot of the page decoration there. Die cuts. Tried to use some really pretty and feminine colors. There's a couple little journaling cards with a quote from Sense and Sensibility. Book title page here. Lots of area for journaling in this one. Ripped and torn edges. I've inked all of them. It's a little envelope here with a couple of journaling cards. This has a quote on it. Did a lot of sewing too. And here is a little Jane Austen book page envelope. Tucks right in there. Used a lot of my snippets and clusters in this. Some journaling cards of different lighting up in this little tuck spot here. Cluster here. Used a lot of the gilding polishes as well as the Pearl X. Did a lot of embossing. These are fabric, and it's Know Your Own Happiness, a quote, Sense and Sensibility. I've just glued them on these library cards. Let's see. Put them in here. This little pocket. Little book page. Some glassine bags that I've decorated. There's some tickets in this one that flips down. This flips over, and it just has a copy of a Jane Austen Dewey Decimal library card. And that flips as well. Made some tabs, some of my vintage lace there. Little cluster here and here. I'll put something in this belly band. Put a little clip on that, and I did some patina stuff on there. I've rusted them, but I also use the pink and gold, the little bulb here. And it just opens up. I'm going to stick it on there. That is a, oh, I might have had it on the other page. That is a vintage receipt. Just going through my stash and trying to really use what I have. No more hoarding. Well, try not to. This is from 1897. Made a pocket here. Tea time with Jane. There is a tea bag in there as well. A vintage ledger sheet. It's quite large, but and it, you know, some of this can be a little brittle sometimes because it is very old, but I thought they were really pretty with the pink lines. Applique up here. That is a flip up. Little frame here that I have put little detail in the pearl-X and the gold. Stamped her in there and did some coloring. Little pad of paper here with a tag here. Made this envelope. I had a lot of the, I do still have a lot of the craft glassine bags, and I did make, it has that little bit of crunch to it. And did some embossing and used, oh there, it's picking it up. A lot of pearl-esque little gilding polishes and pearl, Cosmic Shimmer gilding polish and pearl-esque. And put a little wax seal. And I just made a couple little pockets here, put some journaling cards there. Little quote here that is a tuck. Little glassing bag that I've embossed. Put a little card there, a little carriage card here. Areas to journal on the back. This pretty tag has the rhinestones on it. And a flower card there. Made this little cameo stick pin envelope here that opens, a bookmark and a journaling card in that pocket. Made this little pocket and a front tuck that I've put a few tickets on. This, I believe, is a persuasion quote. Yep. Let whoever gets that read that. A little tag that I've put this key on. It came with an empty spot here and here, and I just put a little rhinestone in there. Thought it went well with this envelope that I've embossed and decorated. And it has a journaling card here that shows a nice pink. There's the back, and then I did put a piece of gold metallic paper in there as well. But that sits in there, and you can cover it or put another picture in it. A tab here that I have. This is where I put all my dangles on the spine and on the tabs and such. Oh, and I don't know if I showed the book, Little Pride and Prejudice book. That was a digital. I'll have the info for you in the description box. Made a pocket here with just some ribbon, a tag that I've backed with some paper. And this is another vintage receipt. This one's from 1906. Well, guest check with some journaling cards that fit all the pretty colors, little snippet, little note sheet there. This I just embossed and made an envelope out of a big glassine bag with a snippet here and a quote from Emma. And I do have some charms there. It's just, let me flip it over, the Emma book, and a little bow. This I just had tucked up in here. And so I've just pinned a little tag there that has a key and a rhinestone. Put a little heart there and a little rhinestone. This opens up and it just flips up. Lots of paper here for writing. And that just winds around. Stick that back in the pocket. Little tuck here with some journaling cards. Little bingo card, little Jane Austen card here, and a vintage postcard. And I just did this little paper clip, altered paper clip with a couple little dangles that holds on this envelope that I've embellished. You can slip a photograph or letter, little note in there. Has some Jane Austen book page and some vintage music sheet. And the back is embellished as well. Okay. Little tuck, book definition, a couple of journaling cards here. And this has sewing around it with this pretty dress that flips open. Little tuck here with this quote. And here's the book page for Sanditon, which is one of my favorites. I loved the series, and it's only had one season, but we're hoping for more. And this is, if anybody watched it, and I hope you do, this is Charlotte's. I just made this dress here to look like her dress when she first danced with Sydney. Well, it's not their first dance together, but it was the first dance once they had a different understanding of each other. And this is one of the quotes from that scene. And then I just did some patina stuff on this Dreaming of the Sea charm. Put it in here, Sanditon book page here. And I thought this was real cute of these ladies. Just reminded me of maybe some that were in the town of Sanditon. A little copy of a vintage receipt there. Tuck that in there. I also have another vintage receipt from 1904. And here's a little bank check, another original. And that just tucks into that. And I made another one of those clips, and I put some charms on it. A little envelope I made from a cluster board that I had, or snippet board, I guess you could call it. Some glimmer mist on that as well, in the gold tones. And that is just another quote from the season. Well, it's a Heraclides quote, but it was from the show. Heraclitus. Okay, more paper here with some pretty lines for journaling. This is actually elastic, so it just helps that card to stay in there. A tag here. More areas for journaling. Little tuck with some stickers that you can put anywhere. Another book page, Jane Austen. Areas here and here. And it's just quite large tag, journaling cards, some more tickets, little index file folder, journaling card thingy. This is another bag, and with a tag here that I've just slipped in the top. And I've embossed this envelope and put it down on this page, and then that holds this envelope. I'll put a little something in there. And this is more that fabric, another side pocket. And these are just some, this is an illustration from a news print that I got. I made some copies of it and did some coffee dyeing And it's from 1946, and it just shows like, let's see, Austen's cottage at Chawton, Hampshire, and different Jane Austen rooms and things like that. I thought it was really interesting. And I did get it to fold real nice and stay fairly flat, so I was able to include it in there. But I do have a little extra bag of some goodies that I will be, a few more things in there that I'll be putting in that will come with the journal, as well as a little writing board to help with journaling. Okay, set that aside. Here is the blue one that measures 8.5 by 5.5. And it's got a lot of the same things, but there's a few different things. I put this shimmer fabric over this paper on this book. This is actually a very old Jane Austen book. I had to rebuild the spine, and it was just really, I rescued it. So I wasn't able to save the spine, but it definitely will hold up good now. Okay, Tyvek reinforced. Here is the side. I just put some pretty bows there. On the spine here is another gold chain, rhinestones, a heart. There's a little Swarovski crystal, another Pride and Prejudice book that can be flipped through. I even put some gold on the edges of the pages. Here are some charms that I've put on the closure, which is just double ribboned with the blue. Let me see the back. Has that little shimmer over it as well, and all sewn. These are just some metal corners that I did some patina work with it to alter the colors a little bit. Inside this pocket here, this is material. Just made another little booklet in the blues and browns and coffee stained and such, stamped. I've embossed this one and did some coloring here. Applique pocket with a postcard here that just fits right in. Some paper ripped and torn and inked. The edges have a lot of different papers. The spines have a lot of different papers and decoration on them. Made a little pocket here. Put some brads in the corners. Put some, I believe these are stickers. If not, they can be glued in wherever. Here's a little Sense and Sensibility book here. Charm, applique here. A little tuck. And a little pocket I made from a vintage napkin. And these are some a carriage here and a carriage here. And I just put some paper on the back side and used some of my snippets. I'm going to put that here. A little quote here. Pride and Prejudice. Made this little envelope. Did the same with the colors of this. Whoops, sorry. Put some charms here, little envelope there, just some collaging on it. And I've also put some lines in the back of this journaling card that just sits in there. Little tuck here, but this is just an embossed glassine bag that I've did some gilding polish on that. Another carriage. This is a copy of a vintage receipt. I thought went well with it. Some vintage doily and a flower here. Put a little postcard, a little journaling card there. Another one of the tea bags. This does flip up. Areas to journal. This is the Emma, one of those cards that have lines in the back for journaling. A snippet there, book page. Some parchment paper, which all my paper unless I get them using copy paper. I don't typically use copy paper in my journals. I only use parchment. Little area for journaling here, little key tag. I put this on the flip up. These are just some pieces of old white fabric and maybe possibly new. Just a little snippet up at the top there, and here as well, little belly band with some cards. Another one of those Jane Austen library cards. Make sure I'm in frame. That came pre-embossed. I just did a lot of the coloring on it. I embossed this entire envelope. It's one of those craft bags like the other one, but this is the blue and gold with the handmade paper. Made a pocket here. It has a vintage postcard in it. Oh, I think I got tangled. Okay, there we go. Side tuck, some Jane Austen paper here, and a vintage receipt from 1906. That is gessoed in the back, just in case anyone wants to write. I embossed this little window envelope and put a playing card in there that just fit perfectly. But you can put something in there as well. Put a little dangle on the end of this copper-toned paper clip. Here's some more of those library cards. A big tag here that I've backed with blue parchment. Quotes. Areas for journaling. Little carriage card. Put some lines on it. Postcard on the other side. Little Emma quote. Some paper here. A doily. Here's some Sanditon stuff here. Journaling card in this little tuck on the Sanditon book page. Vintage postcard of the beach, which really goes well with the Sanditon story. Little dress card here that I've sewn around and made a little pocket. Here's a quote from the TV series, and I altered the little dreaming of the sea and a little starfish there. And then on this page, this dress is the blue dress from the final ball that Charlotte went to. And there's another quote here, a carriage, but here, I'll take this one. This does have a little tuck here, so you could put a picture behind it as well. This is a flower card and a rhinestone journaling card. Just tuck in there. And on this side, another journal card. Copy of a vintage receipt from 1907, I believe. And a little paper that I made, little paper pad. And a little cameo there on that pen. Little tuck here. Made this out of one of my collage boards. Made this 2-page thing. Here's a little pocket there with a Jane Austen paper tag there. A little envelope tuck with another tag and book page. Made this out of some paper doilies, a big pocket with a nice large tag that's backed with the blue paper, parchment. Vintage receipt from 1897, and it's the nice greenish blue. Little file folder here. This is an envelope that I've made that flips open. Little writing spots, some journaling cards there, embossed and colored. And just use that clip for there. And there's a little book charm and a little rhinestone. I gessoed these areas so you have more area for writing. Put some gilding polish around the edges of that one. Little gesso over that. Coffee dyed paper. A little cluster here. Need a little pocket here out of this card. This flips down. And what do I have in here? Oh, a little bingo card. Another one of those pads that I used with this envelope. A little pad of paper here that flips up. And I think that's a little pocket, and I will put something in that as well. Pocket in there. The last is a tag in this pocket. And the persuasion quote here. And the back. Keep flipping this around. There we go. And then this bag here is a bag of goodies that has the same papers folded up and some other things in here. And that will come with the journal along with the little board in that one too. Okay, thanks for watching. I know quite a long video, but again, these will be available in my Etsy shop. I'll put the link below. And thanks for watching, guys.